Hi Scorpio, welcome to your quantum reading. This is for Scorpio Sun, Moon, or Rising. Welcome to my cross watchers. Cross watcher, you could be dealing with a Scorpio. Message could be for you. Take it however it resonates with you and your situation. Keep in mind that these are general and timeless readings. All my information down below in the description box, so you guys can check that out. My website link, Instagram, anything that you want to. And thanks so much for liking, subscribing. Thanks for all the ways you've supported the channel. Let's jump in. Yeah, man, I love that these cards are coming in like this. I'm so glad I used these. Okay, so we have miracles and thriving. This almost feels like a divine intervention, this miracle. So whatever this is, because you see how this is a little bit darker, you're about to move into the light in something, because maybe you started to, I've never read this, but there's like this book on A Course in Miracles. I've actually always wanted to read it, but this could be some kind of light is coming in to light up your situation, especially if you kind of feel like you're in the dark. There's an elevation that's going to be taking place, or you're going to move to a different environment or something where you will thrive. Okay, so something is incompatible about this. In fact, it's like maybe you're not feeling truly appreciated for what you have to contribute, and that could be that you are going to move. This miracle that comes in, Scorps, it's going to move you to a situation where you are fully thriving, you know. So I want to, like, that darkness is kind of helping you to see some incompatibilities that are going on, either in relationships, or it's like, if that's what it's felt like, there's a rainbow after the storm, so to speak, or, you know. Oh, there's fire. Hello. Yeah, wow. Even this card is legit a divine intervention. I don't say this correctly because what is it, Latin? Do e machina? I probably didn't say it right, and everyone's gonna come for me in the comments. Oh, but the comments are off, so you can't come for me. Okay, so we have this fire, and I think this is why there's like some energy that's accumulating. I feel like there's been something suppressing, okay, and this almost feels like an explosion. Do you know how when you suppress an emotion for a significant amount of time and it doesn't have an outlet? It feels like that's what's going on here, Scorps. And I have met Scorpios that are like that. It's like, I think it can be a water sign thing in general, where like there's this could even be sexual tension, but the other side of it is like some kind of fire that's been building, and there is some kind of explosive energy right here. I'm not totally sure what that is about. Maybe it's someone pushing the other, but that's a complete, like, the universe intervenes in this, which is why I was like, wow. And that could feel like a miracle to you, that it's really, truly at the perfect time. Let me get the QP cards. That relativity card cracks me up. It always reminds me of Ross from Friends. It's all relative. Okay. Okay, nice. X-rays. This is so nerdy, but I have to say it every time, so prepare to get sick of me. But X-rays wouldn't exist without quantum mechanics. So there's obviously that at play in this situation, because an X-ray, right? You could look at how cool this is. I actually didn't look at this before. So you see how you are maybe putting something under a microscope, or something about you is able to see beyond the surface. Okay. Wow. Wow. And then you have this flight card, and then you have the stratopause. Okay, this is interesting. Let's see what this is talking about. Stratopause. So stratopause is a transition. And look into the thriving, how there's a complete environment even change. And it's a level of the atmosphere which is a boundary between two layers. So there's a mesosphere and a stratosphere. It's an upper limit or a turning point to the stratosphere, which gives way to a dynamic balance and complete balance, or descends to the coldest part of the atmosphere. So isn't that interesting that it's even talking about the atmosphere and how it could be affecting you energetically? So it's just like a transit, or almost like a bus stop. You're not going to stay here for very long, because yes, you have personal choice in the direction that you're going to go in, but this is what I think is happening, because you're getting to see beyond with this X-ray card. Maybe it's something even about your ability to see beyond surface levels, and now that you have this ability, it's almost like there's just this fire that's generating within you, and a miracle might come in when you least expect it to get you to a place of thriving. So it's almost like once the miracle takes place, you'll be in a bit of a transition phase as far as making decisions and what all that's going to look like. But you even literally have the flight card. So look, you guys have to realize these are general readings. I'm just going to go off of this and, try to go by your own vibration and your own personal guidance as far as applying this kind of stuff to your personal situation, so that you don't take action that's out of alignment and end up in a situation, because that's the goal. You want to be in a situation where you are thriving. Yes. So we have the King of Pentacles overhead. That's amazing. So that looks like your financial goals look good, Scorpio, as far as like maybe handling things, or that could be an outside person that you're attracting. Possible. Oh, look at literal teamwork. 3 of Pentacles. Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. Wow, I just realized something. Wow, that's freaking crazy. Sorry, that's a personal thing that I'm not going to dive into, but wow, I just had the biggest realization. This is why I love doing tarot. Okay, you have a huge emphasis on an earth sign. I don't know if you're dealing with a Virgo specifically, but you might also be just kind of like, in a place of introspection. It's not about completely closing yourself off and going hermit mode. I think human interactions are still positive. I would recommend it, but there's definitely something here about a possible collaboration or teaming up with someone, and there could be someone here maybe has money or whatever this is talking about. But let's see. So we have the 6 of Cups. Oh, look at the progression here. Straight up. So we've got 5 of Pentacles, 6 of Cups, and the 7 of Cups. That's amazing. So it looks like you're making progress here. You're actually making steps to get out of, if it was financial difficulties, but you have the ability. It's like you could be getting yourself organized or getting really strongly cemented in your routines, because a lot of this is 6th house stuff. Virgo is 6th house. So it's like tasks, it's like, your diet, setting up routines for yourself. That's like where your success is lying. And I think this is a legit miracle coming in, and you might feel some fire here. I do feel, okay, for those of you, if this is a person coming into your experience, I do think at first glance, just because of this beginning frequency, you might be like looking beyond the situation. Like you're trying not to look at the surface level stuff because of this King of Pentacles, because this might look very stable, okay? But it looks like you're in introspection about this energy, or you're trying to process like interactions or things like that. I would say don't get swept into an illusion. You guys know the drill, 6 of Cups, because I wonder if it's like whatever you're assessing, you're linking it to previous experiences with the 6 of Cups, Because maybe there are certain things that you're paying attention to, like looking beyond, because this could be even something about like, wow, that's super fascinating. Okay, so say that you had an interaction with a person in the past that had some kind of shadow elements, and you had interacted with them and you were able to piece together that there were certain things that they maybe had addiction things, and that chemical makeup, it actually was expressed in the way that they communicated, and you were able to link up that pattern and able to see that the trajectory of how things would play out even between you and the person. I know that might sound super judgmental, but your past experiences are super helpful in you navigating choices that come up for you, because Seven of Cups is a lot of choices and options, and sometimes you can get pulled into an illusion or a distraction. And that's why you always want to be like, you know, very straight on with the time that you spend to yourself and integrating. Because like, here's what's fascinating, Scorpio. Obviously you're ruled by Pluto, but this particular energy wants you to shift out into Mercury. So Mercury rules Virgo, and it's about communications that will come in, but Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. And the way that they take information in and process it is completely different. Gemini wants to know how it affects them, and like it's something more about mental, because what part of the body does Gemini rule? It's I know Cancer is the stomach. I want to say that Gemini, and I know Taurus is the neck, so Gemini must be chest or heart area, maybe even forearms. It's something about that mid-range. And so Gemini processes things very differently than a Virgo. A Virgo will internalize something and close off and like let something sit within inside them. Geminis are, I think, a lot more dynamic. It comes like through their communications. They want to express things, but Virgos don't do that. Like they don't express as much. So that could be something here that you're not saying as much. You're like, and the energy of you just processing what's coming in towards you, it's igniting a lot of memories with the Six of Cups. So that's very interesting, because maybe you're doing a bit of comparison, not necessarily like, obviously you need to make sure you're not dealing with similar energies from the past, like old patterns that you've already dealt with. I feel like that's a part of what this is coming from. But you have the Ten of Pentacles. Wow. The Seven of Cups doesn't make me too keen though, because I feel like you have a lot of money coming in, and it's like you need to keep your attention on that, because you don't want to get distracted here. Because this would be an energetic match, but maybe there's a person here wanting to get connected with you because you are sitting in Ten of Pentacles. Something about you, Scorpio, has some kind of self-mastery with the major arcana at the top. Like, you know how to be okay by yourself. You know how to go within when it comes to certain situations and completely trust. You know how to wait for the light to come in. See how the Hermit has a snake? Like, just holding that snake like a freaking, not even fazed by that. You know what I mean? There's no fear around this. So you know how to work with this energy. See, there's even the High Priestess, which is a lot of quiet. Wow. Wow, very interesting. So you have the Eight of Cups, Queen of Wands, Four of Wands, and the High Priestess. Who's that? You could be walking away from an energy, but it's saying something here that, wow, how amazing. Okay, so it's like your confidence is going to build up in this situation, because you might be realizing that there is an illusion of stability or commitment. I don't know. That's why I was like, I don't know how to feel about the Seven of Cups with the Ten of Pentacles, because that could be an illusion of stability. Obviously, all you guys have different situations, but it's like being realistic about energies that come forward towards you. This even could be in like a boss, you know, like some of you guys, I'm going to say this straight up. You keep dealing with energies that come across as like in control in some type of situation, but you actually are more developed in some way. It's not to say that you're better than anyone. It actually is saying like you have some level of skill that you might actually be the, like, it's about changing the script and saying, you know, if you've always been put in the situation because of abandonment issues where you're like looking to come out of the cold and other people try to assert themselves as you getting their approval, there's a switch in that dynamic that's taking place where you're now checking in with yourself on if it's a good match for you, if you really want to be associated with that person, if their environment and everything is conducive to you constantly having self-healing, or, you know, like being very realistic about that. I think that's actually very good because it's saying that you're going to gain your confidence by walking away from situations, especially when you trust your inner knowing. It's like, look at these little celebrations that you have with yourself because you nipped it in the bud before getting pulled into some kind of dynamic. And especially, I brought this up before, is like you could have interactions. It's like when you don't respond, sometimes you can even be dealing with outward energies where they come forward very bold and brazen into your environment. Like say you're out in a social situation or you're in an environment where you're in the public and people might specifically come up to you and say something, and intuitively you know that there's like some kind of underlying meaning. It's just something about the frequency that other people that might be psychic, whether they know it or not, and they say something to you and you're like, wow, and it's like an answer that you were seeking. And maybe you were just still trying to trust yourself. Sometimes outside confirmations are super helpful to what you knew internally. And sometimes you just like need that if you've dealt with a lot of gaslighting or things like that in your life. But I think that, wow, isn't it crazy that you had this Seven of Cups? Because this almost feels like, Scorpio, that's in your mind. You could be deciding like you're energetically pulling yourself away from something because it could have pulled into a fantasy, because maybe something about your outward reality is kind of uncomfortable and you don't totally want to deal with it. And it's like you could be like a distraction presented itself so that you could really like indulge yourself in a fantasy, but that's actually causing you to stay disconnected from a goal or something that you're acquiring in your situation. So it's like you're energetically, this is what's going on internally, is you're trying to pull away from this because you understand that it's actually not as stable as it appears. Wow, like isn't that fascinating with the X-ray? So you felt the fire come back on. I do think that miracles are coming in energetically, and I do think that you are going to thrive. That's all, like, that's guaranteed here in this situation. You just keep dealing with these situations that almost feel like shortcuts, but they're not. It's like there's an illusion of long-term commitment. It's not the actuality. So just make sure you're being super realistic. Yeah, you can teamwork and do whatever you need, but it's almost like you want to have the right alliances or things like that. Okay, so trust your intuition because I feel like that's spot on. So let me dive into the extended Scorps. If you want to join me over there, feel free. Go down below, click on the Vimeo link, see you over there. But Scorpio, if this is where we leave things, sending you so much love. Wishing you all the very best. See you in the next reading. Take care.